Speaking of which, let's move on and let's talk about my girl, Wendy Williams. How you doing? So yesterday I gagged when it was announced that, well, Charlemagne announced that Wendy Williams was going to make a public appearance. Well, was going to do an interview actually, um, on the Breakfast Club. So yeah, there was a Wendy interview. I will hunt you down. Shout out to Mariah. And she spilled a lot of tea. Now, I don't know if y'all saw it, but she basically opened up and talked about her court ordered conservatorship and claims from her own team that she's been diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia and aphasia. I'm going to say this. When I was watching it, well, why technically I was listening to it because she was calling in. So she wasn't visibly there. She was there alongside her niece, Alex Finney, who also, I believe, is she's a reporter. She was on the call with her and she was helping. So when Wendy would get a little jarbled, and yeah, at times she was getting a little jarbled with her, with articulating certain things that she needs to say, which makes me go that she's not 110%. And I'll get into all of that in a second. So, because I've been hearing a lot of people say, oh, yeah, free. When on one hand, they're saying free Wendy. On the other hand, everybody's like, she needs to be back on TV. She needs to be back on TV. Can we slow our roll with the whole TV thing? It's because y'all are selfishly in dire need of somebody to be out here spilling the tea like she used to, that you're not thinking about the bigger picture. You're thinking selfishly. And I'll get into my overall thoughts about that in a second. But she basically called in this morning and she was adamant that her mental condition was not deteriorated at all and said that she felt trapped in the care facility where she's been living. So, do I think that she's cognitively impaired? No, I think she was fine. I think that she's able to articulate certain things. I mean, do I think that there is some dementia situations there? Possibly. I'm not her doctor, so I don't know necessarily what her blood work and all that other stuff look like and what her cognitive dissonance and all that other stuff is. But I would assume, like, okay, if these doctors have diagnosed her and if it was been years of abuse from her drinking, which does cause dementia, this is a medical fact, that I do think that there is some stuff there. However, the conditions that they put her in and all the stuff that she was talking about is disgusting. I do feel like she needs to be released into the care of her family. And I know they were sitting up there at certain points trying to say that, well, she needs to be like, she can't say certain things on the legality. Now, I do get that there was certain situations, but there were simple questions that in my opinion, I was like, okay, that don't need to be a legal thing. It's just the fact of the matter was Wendy Williams was having a hard time articulating her words in certain situations. She kept saying, look, 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 look. I tell you, the many times she said, look, if there was a drinking game for how many times she said, look, I would have to be put in the rehab for all the shots I'd have been taking. But I do feel like at times that she was stumbling over her words. She was struggling to say things. I did cackle at some times when she did say something because I was like, okay, there's the Wendy that I remember, the sharp as a wit Wendy. So at moments, that old Wendy would come out. But at other times, it's like you could definitely tell that you don't want to overexert her. And I do feel like that if she was released under the care of her family, she would get the help that she needs to be able to be on the straight and narrow, because I feel like this condition they have her in is going to stress her out even more. It's not good for her health, whether it's her physical or her mental, because it's not just the frontal temporal aphasia and the dementia and all this other stuff that she has. She also has lymphedema. She also has thyroid issues. So she's got all these other things going on, and you don't think that with all this stress that it will flare up? She was also mentioning that they have her in this room where it's just her TV, but she said she had to have them people that I guess had access to her money to pay for the television. She watches a lot of TV. She said she eats in her room. The facility that they have her in, she's surrounded by a bunch of old people, and it's probably that people who don't want to deal with their older, the elderly or whatever the case, or maybe they don't have family, whatever the case is, so they wind up in this facility where I guess they just kind of just wait until they die or whatever. And then they're put out to pasture. But they have her up in there like she's a damn prisoner. So based off of the conditions and say that she was in, I totally believe 110% of what she was saying. So I love the fact that after Charlemagne had his call with her last week, that he was like, you know what, let's put together in private because then we found out about it literally less than 24 hours after it actually went through, that let's put an interview together. And I feel like this was a desperate attempt on her part to get the word out. And if there's family around her that are willing to pull up to the mantle and give her the help that she needs and devote a lot of their time and energy into taking care of her, why can't she be released in their care? I do feel like what they also brought up was like the conditions of a lot of these places. When you deal with any kind of social work, they're all understaffed, overworked. They get bombarded with a workload of all these people in their cases. Things slip through the cracks. She also mentioned that because Sabrina out here with her fake ass lawsuit, and I believe that from the beginning because I was like, wait a minute. Now, if you're supposed to be her guardian, court appointed, and she did this "Where is Wendy Williams" documentary, wouldn't she have to go through you first in order for this situation to pop off and happen? How is it that they have to, like, this thing happens and you're like, oh my God, I'm so completely oblivious as to what this whole thing, I mean, they did it without me knowing. You're a fucking liar. Because my thing is, if you're a guardian, how the hell did it get past you? But everything else, when you have her actual phone, she has a phone that can make out calls, but nobody can call in. That's what she mentioned also as well. So how is it that you are completely unaware of this situation? The only reason why you decided to file this lawsuit against Lifetime and all the other people that were involved in the production is because the docuseries painted you in a light that you didn't like and exposed you and the likes of you for the whore pit viper succubuses that y'all are. Y'all saw a gold mine looking at Wendy Williams and thinking like, oh, this lady's from TV. She's got all these millions of dollars locked up in Wells Fargo and all this other stuff that's going on. So now we're going to bleed her dry. And now everybody else is getting smart. So we're going to try to isolate her from her family and everybody who wants to go up there and see her. There was even one of the girls, and I forgot her name, I think it's Lauren, that is the new co-host over at the Breakfast Club. I'm glad it wasn't just hilarious. You know, I can't stand her dumb ass. But the other new girl who I actually think would be a proper replacement, but I like the fact that they got 4 co-hosts instead of 3. It balances everything out over there. But anyway, so the new chick went over there, and if that's not her name, I apologize, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. She said she went down to the facility. They sent her down there to visit Wendy, and then she was like at the front desk. They said everything was copacetic in the beginning. Then all of a sudden things started getting a little weird, and they started acting like, oh, we don't know who Wendy is, and did you go through her conservator and all this other blah, 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 blah. And it's like, the games y'all up in here playing, she got to go through a whole bunch of hoops to be able to have for some people to come see her. Y'all don't think that when you put people in these facilities that they're lonely, that all human beings want in general is just genuine contact? That they just want to be around people where they can just get, have those conversations or just any kind of human interaction. That's why when I'm out sometimes, and especially when I'm at work and I'm interacting with people, I always give people that grace because you never know what people are dealing with or what they're going through at that time. And the fact of the matter that they're doing this, I feel like, you know what, they exposed her. And I felt like while I'm listening to this interview, I felt so helpless for her. And even for myself, because I'm like, what can we possibly do to try to help you? I feel like she needs a lawyer, a good lawyer, because I think they hinted something or another that maybe her lawyer was in cahoots with the judge and had donated some money or something or another. I was also trying to see if they were going to actually answer, how did she get in this position? Like, how did she get to this point? How did you get here? How did you get to that point? Like, how did we go from all of a sudden you was out here free as a jaybird to all of a sudden being a prisoner in this facility? And then the worst part that really pissed me off is that when she revealed that they gave away her damn cats. They sold her cats like it was damn Kunta Kinte and Kizzy. Chit-chatting my way. They went and sold her damn cats. That pissed me off when she was talking about that. And she was like, they were held up somewhere and she was trying to get her cats to come to her. And then I guess, if I'm not mistaken, she said Sabrina was the one that told her that she sold her cat. I'm like, bitch, why are you so evil? So I thought it was a great interview. And I do think that Wendy needs to be taken out of this guardianship. She and like when I was listening to her, I just felt like she sounded like she was aware of what was going on and could definitely recall certain things at certain points of her life, especially like when she would bring up how long she's known Charlemagne and certain situations that we weren't privy to. And then also, she sat down right after calling Charlemagne and stuff. She went and called Don Lemon, but Don Lemon said that they had a specific time they were gonna call, she was gonna call him, and that it was gonna be a much longer interview, but something I guess happened, so he only got to have 15 minutes with her. So I know like some people probably feel like maybe he was a little too aggressive with her, but I think what the reason why maybe that is because he only had a short amount because of what happened prior. I don't know necessarily what happened, but he only had a short amount of time to really get what he needed to get out of her. So he was pushing a little bit. And a lot of times it seemed like Wendy was getting a little irritated and she was sort of like, Alex, I need you to talk. I need you to talk. Like she kept reverting to Alex a lot of times because I think also it was she was struggling to maintain focus on certain points that she was trying to make. I could definitely tell that she was doing that because I watched the video. I watched both of those interviews. I watched twice because I wanted to make sure that I had it embedded in my brain so that way I could tell y'all what was going on. But she doesn't sound like somebody with dementia. I mean, quiet as a scab. Y'all already know I'm half her age. Am I? Yeah, she's in her 60s. I'm in my 40s. I was like, yeah, I am half her age. So, you forget shit on this show all the damn time. So what y'all gonna say? I got dementia too? But then again, like I said, I'm not her doctor. I didn't go and I haven't tested her, so I don't know what her situation is. But look, I forget stuff on this show all the time. Thank God I got y'all in the chat that be reminding me of certain things because I can't remember everything. I don't have a little landline of notes that's sitting in front of me. A lot of this stuff is coming off the dome. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't have producers and stuff that's going to help me with certain talking points. I just be talking. I mean, I have majority of the knowledge of what I need to talk about, but you can't remember everything. And look, she's 60 years old, so she's bound to forget stuff. But I do think that her excessive alcohol use has taken a toll. And then if you listen to the Don Lemon interview, he goes into details about like how they first met, the times when he wasn't really feeling her because back in Philly, when she was banished to Philly because of something she said about what was it? Oh, because she started trying was out in Diddy, so she got kicked over. So with his power in New York, him threatening hiding something, I'm gonna pull my artist unless you fire her. And he was very one of the most powerful people in hip hop. So of course, radio being a slave to these record labels at the time, they were gonna listen. So they fired her, and she went over to Philly. And apparently, Don Lemon was a reporter over there in Philly. And apparently she went on the radio and outed him saying that he was spotted at a gay bar and he wasn't out of the closet yet. So he was like they didn't really get along at that time. But then he explains the whole thing when y'all get around to listen to it. I don't want to sit and focus on all that, but he started spilling tea also about how she has to plan a divorce, Kelvin, and how he loved gifts. So, that's probably how you kept this big back ass around while he was, fool la line out there with Miss Sharina to the point where he got that bitch pregnant. So she said how she basically how she served him the divorce papers in a box that he thought was a gift that he was getting. I think it was like Louis Vuitton or one of those old fashion houses. And child, that's how they slipped him the "you got served" tease. So he started spilling all little things and how she called him up one time and said she was lonely, and she came and stayed out with him in the Hamptons and went on the boat, and how they went out to dinner with Countess Luann from the Housewives of New York, and a bunch of other stuff, and how she took her wig off and got real with him, and they basically just spilled all her personal tea to him because she was feeling, she was vulnerable and all that other stuff. So he goes into that whole thing. I didn't mind his interview that much. He did come across a little aggressive, but I understand why he was doing that. It was Don Lemon, the journalist, that was coming in, and I guess in so many ways he wanted to hear from Wendy what was going on rather than Alex per se being her mouthpiece. But then again, you have to think about it is that Wendy is under a lot of duress. Wendy's going through a lot right now. I do feel like she is not 110%, that there are some medical issues that she has, and she can't sit and be as cognitive as she wants. She's way more cognitive, but I will say that she was way more cognitive than what we saw in that way as Wendy Williams. So I will give her that. It looks like she's put in the work. She definitely was bright as a jaybird. We saw elements of herself, but there's another clip, Cham, that I want to play for y'all, but we're gonna get to that. So this reminds me a lot of the hashtag, like there was elements of the Free Britney movement, the hashtag Free Britney movement. I feel like it's eerily similar to what Wendy's going through. So does she have the mental capacity to jump back into the TV pool? I don't think so. I think if she does want to get back into that, which could be further down the road, I do think she could possibly do a podcast. But a podcast maybe twice a week or 3 times a week, a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, just to give her days in between to like relax. But if she does do a podcast, Wendy can't get up there like she used to be on the Wendy Williams show, sitting in the purple chair, holding court by herself. That is virtually impossible, because we saw when she was on the teeter end of like the brain wasn't braining, how Norman had to pretty much guide her through a lot of the hot topics because she wasn't 110%. And we started seeing those cracks in the dam before the show ended up getting canceled. Well, she ended up not showing up to work and they ended up canceling it. So the one clip I want to play for y'all is when she hit Diddy with a stray. I was like, Wendy's back. I mean, I said, oh, there's the Wendy we know. Not necessarily Wendy's back. But hold on, because I want y'all to hear this. I cackled when she said this. I hope it actually plays and it's not going to be a damn commercial. Hold on.
Wendy, you got fired from Hot 97 years ago because of Diddy. All these years later to see where Diddy currently is. What do you feel about that situation?
Right. Hey, when I watch TMZ and I see the stuff that goes on, I'm like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden I see me on TMZ. You know what I'm saying? It's really weird seeing me on TV when I'm caught in this position. You know what I'm saying? The other day I was watching Cookout and there I am in the first opening scene. I was like, oh my God. Season 1, episode 13, there I am on Martin. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day. And you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
She still got it.
Diddy done. Doo-da, day.
How you doing? See, she still got it.
See, now when she said Diddy done, I told her that's currently trending on the Twitter. I was like, yep, there's the Wendy that we know and love back in the day. She pops out every now and again. But before we wrap this up, I thought I'd do what I usually do on the show and get the fan reactions, because the people, the Wendy Neestas, took they behind over to social media and dragged Sabrina Morrissey after the Queen of All Millie revealed that her life is effed up and feels like she was trapped in a prison. So I want to get to some of those comments. Hold on. So basically it was saying that, not long after the interview, social media users jumped to Twitter to share their thoughts, with some calling for the hashtag Free Wendy movement. Now, it is similar to when fans rallied behind Britney Spears and spoke out against her 13-year conservatorship, which ended in November of 2021. They're saying, so let's get to those. So one person said, Wendy Williams is literally being held captive by Sabrina Morrissey. But I have some of those. Hold on. We'll get to those. See, there goes one. Now, Wendy's literally being held captive by Sabrina Morrissey. Another person said, listening to Wendy Williams on the Breakfast Club and the way y'all went up for Britney Spears, y'all better do the same for Wendy. SMH, hashtag Free Wendy. Another person said, if you love Wendy Williams as much as I do, sign. Yeah, we definitely need to change that org. Now, if whether or not it does help the situation, that's TBD. But for the most part, let's see if we can actually get, those numbers up over there with that. Another person said, hashtag Wendy. Oh, yeah, she mentioned that. She only got $15 on her damn name. She said, hashtag, oh, that's Duke Dirty. Let me find, hold on. Oh, I was going to say, I got to let DJ know that his tweet made the Daily Mail. I don't think he knows that though. So this is a hashtag Wendy Williams only has $15. Time to strap up. That's like a friend of mine, by the way. That's why I was getting excited. So they said, who we got to fight? I can't hear Wendy cry like this. What's the name of Guardians? Question mark. It's time to talk. Well, they said, what's the name? Sabrina Morrissey. Isn't that her damn name? Another person said, Wendy says she has $15 to her in her possession because her money is locked up. Hashtag Wendy Williams, hashtag free Wendy. Another person said, this is very sad hearing Wendy Williams on the Breakfast Club. Her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, is really trying to make her lose her mind. Up in here, up in here. She can't have a phone, a laptop, can't go to the doctors of her choice, nor is she allowed to go shopping to buy personal items. And yeah, that's true too, because she did mention that there's a specific water, and she kept stumbling on that too, like she couldn't remember. But there was, she said there's a specific brand of water that she likes, and she can even get the simple amenities that she goes by. And then on top of that, she was like, yeah, the specific doctors that I use, why can't I go to them? Because it's like people like comfort. If you have a good doctor, you want to hold on. It's kind of like like when you find that good barber, you don't want to let that person go. So for them to try to control every aspect of her life, which she can't even have even a laptop. But I think the reason why they don't want her to have a laptop, because I'm like, I need access to the internet. No shade. I will go nuts if I don't have access to the internet, because what I do in media, I need the internet to know what the hell's going on and be able to do the things that I'm doing, like this show, or if I'm working on my website and all that other stuff. But I think that the reason why they won't give her a laptop is because they feel like that she'll probably use that as a way to communicate outside that little landline they gave her in the room. And they can keep tabs on the online stuff if she has a laptop. Another person said, Wendy is breaking down in tears because she's scared and she will have her phone taken away or even moved for talking today, and her family won't be notified. Another person said, listen to Wendy Williams on the Breakfast Club this morning. This conservatorship has got to go. Sabrina Morrissey, it's time to do the right thing and allow Wendy to be free and see or call her family whenever she wants to, on her own terms. Another person said, if y'all can free Brittany, child. And it says, so she could twirl around with her knives until the end of days. Shady. Y'all can free Wendy. Exactly. If y'all can sit up there and allow Brittany to sit up there in that damn room, in that foyer with them ugly ass brown shoes, them Gerber baby panties where she want to show off her little lower V, because she was doing that the other day with that runny ass mascara on her face and that nappy headed ass weave, twirling and pop dipping and spinning in that damn foyer, then y'all can let Wendy live her best life on her own damn terms. Y'all get mad when we be over there side-eyeing what Brittany be doing post-conservatorship. So why can't the same thing be happening for Wendy? At least Wendy be under the care of her family. Well, Wendy ain't gonna be twirling in no foyer in no Gerber baby panties. But if she want to sit out here as a grown woman and do the things that she want to do with her own stuff, that's on her. And so I'm hoping, like, you know what, while we all feel that, you know, a sense of hopelessness, whatever the case is, I feel like what we can do is, the change.org petition, the hashtag free Wendy thing. Like, let's keep that going. Let's not just make this a 24-hour situation because it's on everybody's mind now until the next damn thing comes up and then we all forget. We need to keep this hashtag free Wendy movement going. We need to be about as vigilant and as louder than the Free Britney movement, because there's no reason why this lady should be treated the way she's being treated. And one of the things I will say about this also, I know some people over there, well, y'all want to pipe up when the celebrities, when it happens to them. But guess what? The only time y'all pay a damn attention to what's going on is when it happens to a celebrity. And because it's happening to this particular celebrity, then it opens up a Pandora's box. And you know what? Those regular schmegular people that this is dealing with, who don't have the money and the access to be able to get on a Breakfast Club or any of these other programs to let people know what's going on with said celebrity, it makes people aware of the New York system, because they said Wendy's in New York, and how they treat people in these guardianships. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that. If y'all have a chance, if you have not seen the Breakfast Club interview and the Don Lemon interview, definitely check them out. They're both on YouTube. But in the meantime, I ask all of you this, for those of you who did see it, what did you think of the Wendy's interviews with Don Lemon, as well as the Breakfast Club and all the accusations and things that she was putting out there. And if this is a risk, because I feel like she's desperate right now, and this is, sometimes you got to take a risk. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And so she had to do what she got to do to get out there to get the word out, because y'all seeing her cussing out her staff and all this other stuff. That's within good reason, because I'm sure that was the person she was cussing out, the one that Sabrina appointed her to be following her around like a damn sick puppy. And these people taking advantage of her, and she can't go no damn way. She said she can't even go out to eat or hang out without this guardian setting up someone to follow her around and watch her like she's security. Or there's her security. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.